What is going on? Fight Night 7, Primetime MMA back with you on a Monday night. Getting some more fun-ass fights in, obviously for you all. We've got EK Slick up against Love4MMA, sorry. Obviously got an absolutely stacked card as always. Got the pleasure of being joined by Doctor Who, the Damien Meyer main tonight. How you doing, brother?
I'm alive and well. This card is stacked. Got a brilliant co-main banger versus Tadpole, as you mentioned in the introduction. Slick versus Love4MMA. Love being a 6-0 currently, looking to carry it on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Obviously names all the way through. I mean, even down towards the prelims, we see like EK, Jakey B up against T.O. Soul. We're going to have TMF Grains up against Ra Ra. Number of guys, honestly, Jim Jams, Chase Me Fam. So many names up there, to be perfectly honest with you. Even, kind of on the lower end, got Lepo, BTMF, Draccio, so on and so forth. Many fun fights to go. We're not really going to waste too much time tonight. We're just going to get straight into them. Hopefully this first one is a banger. It's going to be fighting in the featherweight division by the looks of things, and you know how much I love this weight class. There's many good picks down here. Nice variety of great strikers, and some semi-decent grapplers as well if you're going to go down the Everett pick, Volkanovski, and obviously the Ortega pick that we see here now.
Indeed. Both of them are good picks, to be fair.
For sure, for sure. I mean, one of the things that I don't see a lot of Ortega's players doing is work the clinch a little bit more. A lot of people tend to shoot the takedown, or at least in my experience, especially in ranked and so on. But he does have a really, really good clinch. Has submissions to threaten from there as well. And obviously, from that you can also work in the takedowns.
Indeed. Volk has also got that brilliant lead leg kick, which can work fantastically. Level 5 jab. Both of them are very focused on the kicks.
That's a good start off by Ortega. I mean, catching the leg kick, getting the takedown early, but reversed by Eastside, and that's not too bad at all. Probably don't want to be here still, though. Ortega's guard is going to be pretty dangerous, so he's working some good ground and pound, but got to be careful if he manages to retain that full guard, which he does. Oh, rubber guard. You know I love the rubber guard, man. If he manages to get the denial off, could be dangerous. Good work from Volk to get out of it, but
still deny the reversal from that, so even the top fighter does have a way of defending. Yeah,
no, for sure. It's more of like a pre-deny, though. You've kind of just got to guess the direction and time it right, but see that right there, when you've got the rubber guard up, the open side, you have to hold that in order to defend the block. I don't know if a lot of people know that. You see a lot of people flicking to try and defend right or left, up and down, but that's one of those ones which you have to hold it in order for it to stick.
Lovely fakes in general, though, from both opponents. He's very much focused on that rubber guard, just looking to hold it, probably do a bit of damage. You can do both body and head damage, making rubber guard one of the best places when you're on bottom.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like you say, lots and lots of damage can be put out there from elbows to the head. You can actually elbow to the body as well. I believe that's still in the game. I haven't actually tried to utilize it too recently. Haven't found myself on the back, though. Nice stacked guard from Eastside, and obviously that's one of the more dangerous options that he has from that position, raining down some good ground and pound, but Ortega surviving a little bit longer. That was some good work on the ground, but back to the feet now and looking to get active straight away by the looks of things.
Yeah, Stro, that kick again came a bit too close. If he wants to go more focused on the body kicks, maybe a good idea is just to plant them instead.
Yeah, for sure. Goes for the double leg bail into the pull guard, gets the reversal into top mount. That's obviously great work from him. Still got lots and lots of time to work on the clock as well. So interesting to see what he's able to do. He may opt for a submission. There's still time on the clock, but another reversal from Eastside. I mean, these guys seem to be struggling a little bit on their denials tonight. They're very, very active on the ground, but not too many denials. That was one big denial right there, and a go-go plata with plenty of time, mate. This could be cinched in.
Yeah, that's a really good call, especially Goga Platter being a strong sub. He could have got it from top mount, but instead offers to go to rubber guard, allowing that, and you can see the guard's going up very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, when he manages to get the blue just even completely wrapped over it for a second, you see him flicking over the other side of him, kind of trying to extend to the furthest direction that he's moving, gets the submit, and that's a great submission by Decals from the rubber guard, gets the denial as he goes for stacked guard for the second time in a row. Able to cinch in the submission, and I believe that was his debut, so if it is, that's a big win for him on his debut.
He did previously make a fight against Blue, however,
second fight. Yeah, no, I was going to say second. Yeah, okay, second fight. I've just checked his bio there. Looks like that was a round 1 submission as well, so maybe a bit of a submission threat on the up and up within prime time. That was a great one right there. The first real denial he was able to get off. He was able to really, really make it count and sink in that submission. The high submission offense of Brian Ortega obviously going to be helping him out, especially when you've got your opponent gassed a little bit. Volkanovski, I believe, does have pretty good submission defense, but not enough in this case. Obviously did a great job of tracking it and kind of went from there.
Especially when fighting such a high-level BJJ person like Ortega, who has a lot of subs, it's always nice to see. Although he originally came out in Season 1 having no rubber guard, so that was interesting for a bit.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, obviously we got some fun fights up next. As always, we're going to be going on to the second fight. That was our only early prelim of the evening. We're going to be having EK-Jakey EK-Jakey I should say, up against T.O. Soul. I believe this is going to be in a welterweight division, if my eyes don't deceive me. My eyes aren't too fantastic. Just going to get these guys set up. Shouldn't take too long, but obviously EK-Jakey is now part of EK, previously part of BFAMP, so we know that he's a very, very good player. Got excellent grappling, if memory serves me right there, Doc. Have you come across Tio Sol yourself or Jakey B in any training?
Tio Sol's been making his name up, coming up through the ranks. He's had some pretty good fights as well. Jakey, as you mentioned earlier, is a fantastic grappler. Sol's got Sol has fought Rara, subbing him, with Rara coming, building up on that grappling. So that's not a bad win, especially saying how Rara has progressed recently. Onrius as well, he's also beaten. He's lost to Eutychus, but Eutychus is no underestimate of a fighter. He's making himself come up, and he's a fantastic fighter, at least in terms of the grappling.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you often see kind of a bit of a variety. Some players are very well rounded, but don't specialize in anything. You have some players that specialize in a particular art. I mean, when I met you, I would say that you specialized in grappling. It was really kind of your area. But as time has gone on, obviously you've been able to well round out your game and becoming increasingly more dangerous as a result. But much the same as Jakey, I feel like a lot of the performances I've seen in him has been very, very grappling heavy. Haven't really got to see him use his hands too much, but that's because he hasn't really had to. But he works with a lot of great strikers out of the EK camp, with the likes of Spider there. Obviously his previous campmate and current campmate as well, Trixie. Current champion. Lots and lots of great strikers. So I imagine great things out of him. Tio Sol, I believe, had a great performance last time out. So we'll have to see what he's able to do this time around. But he's up against a tough opponent this evening for sure.
Well, as you mentioned, Jakey fighting some high-level strikers in his camp. You also remember he came from the beef-up camp.
Exactly.
Which predominantly strikers, and they were just mean with their grappling.
Well, Ferguson, Usman picks. Yes, sir. Interesting, right?
Counter picks are one though. Usman's got the power in the hands and got the top going. Ferguson not necessarily has the power in the hand, but will withstand that power, and also has, as we saw last game, how dangerous the Whittaker.
Starting out with the rear body uppercut. Goes for the takedown for EK Jakey. Tries to take him down. Nothing to do on this one so far. I mean, that's kind of what you expect to see, though, right? Active work.
Lovely body work. Defensive Minari fails it with straight into the side control.
Nice takedown. This is what you want if you're Jakey. I mean, obviously plenty of time on the clock. He's probably going to look to work some ground and pound, but steadily so. I imagine he's not going to want to lose this position, especially because, as we saw in the last round, with that rubber guard availability and the submissions from that position, if you get one denial, you can make it a quick night.
And it goes straight into the half guard waiting for Jakey. That's kind of the way some people play it. Don't actually script it for anything. If someone decides to post the hook, you can just get freaking lovely denial there by Jakey. Ferguson needs to defend his own pocket, but he tries to move that stand so low that it allows even nice for Jakey. Here we see another great hand coming out again.
Yeah, this is great work from Jakey B, and exactly what he wants, especially this early in the fight, able to put your opponent on their back, work some brutal ground and pound, and I mean, honestly, this may even be it with one shot more. It is. Jakey B makes quick work of it tonight. Like I said, Tio Sol was up against a very, very tough opponent. High-level guy. Obviously looking to make a bit of a run himself, like many of his campmates have been in primetime currently. That's a great way to do it, though, showing how dominant his grappling is. Able to work that, savage ground and pound early and often, mate. Early and often. Took it home with him.
Indeed. Well, it's the entire thing about Usman. He's got those heavy hands with the high striking stat and not the high striking stat, the high ground and pound stat, but sorry, which even with Ferguson's high chin, you're just not going to be a fun time in a top mat position.
No, for sure, man, for sure. Like you say, the cardio allows him to continue to rain those shots as well, especially when they're being perfectly picked like they were with by Jakey. He was picking his shots very, very well, and didn't waste any energy. As a result, able to continue to pile up those shots on the head health of his opponent. And it was a little bit too much for Tio Sol tonight, but once again, sure, he'll be back to the drawing board. Look at what he kind of did against his opponent Jakey tonight, because Jakey's obviously a tough opponent. You can't make those kind of narrow mistakes, or very, very kind of narrow margins for mistakes. And tonight he looked fantastic. So interesting to see where he goes there for sure. We have another very, very fan-friendly fight up next. Ginger Ninja up against Broomstick. Both guys very, very fun fighters. I'd like to say that they're both strikers from my personal experience, but they're definitely well-rounded. Going to be in the flyweight division from what I'm seeing, so once again, another fun weight class. A little bit less variance in this weight class. I think you normally see these top picks. You normally see the Figueiredo picks, the obviously Dillashaw picks.
Well, everybody in that weight is classed as a high-rated fighter, so you could say you see high-rated picks all the time. And here we see a Figueiredo versus Dillashaw. Dillashaw had a chin nerf recently, so his chin's kind of sketchy. And he's got to be aware of that when fighting Figueiredo. Beginning to stay on the outside first, just looking, but also getting clipped.
Yeah, it's starting a very, very quick little feeling out process by these two opponents. You love to see it. You knew that these guys were both game. Type of guys that like to go out on their shield. If they're going to go out, it's either win big or, kind of go out on your shield. So you love to see it. Kind of see it right now, why that's the case. Obviously getting active in each other's faces, trying to probe with those jab straighting, strikes. Now mixing in some lovely little body work, rip into it.
Yeah, well, the most notable thing here to me is that leg kick by Ginger. He's ending every combo just with a kick, just working down that chin, then proceeding to throw a head kick. Catches the body and a lovely job working down the block, using Figgy's power fantastically.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. The block of Figueiredo isn't fantastic either, so he's definitely going to have to be wary of that.
Yeah, well, the way Ginger's going, you've got his power's going to work down that chin enough to make sure that neither body's block's going to be fantastic. Figueiredo's got about 97 head movement stat as well, so if he wants to move that head off the center line, he can do. That leg kick is just chopping down his leg.
That's a nice little combination right there. Landing on the lead upper for the finish. Often catch your opponent ducking when you go to that third shot, so the uppercut's a lovely strike to throw out there. Lovely little pull, or a slip hook, I should say. Broomstick trying to answer back with 1-2 head kick. Both guys doing well on their blocking so far, but staying active with the strikes. You can see the damage starting to wear up a little bit on TJ. At least on the face.
That leg... but both, I keep going back to those leg kicks because they're going to matter coming to that second round. Both opponents have worked their legs down. You may be focusing on the blocking here, but you got to think neither person's going to like each other's legs by the end of this.
No, for sure, man. When you're chopping at it like this, there's only so many that they can take. Already see, like you say, the visible damage to it 4 minutes into the first round, still with another 10 minutes potentially on the clock, or 11 minutes at this point. Another chop and calf kick. I think that Broomstick's doing a good job of when Ginger Ninja is coming in, he's planting, going straight lead uppercut, straight lead hook, I should say, but Ginger's being a little bit relentless with it and really liking the power of Figueiredo, starting to try to plant these shots on him. That was good work. I mean, the head health's low. This could be one big shot away from a finish, but...
Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah, that one big miss was probably the one that stopped that momentum. He kept it going for quite some time there.
Yeah, look... Focusing really back on the hands, you actually see the uppercut, that lead uppercut, being the main play of Ginger's game. He's working down he's using the jab and hook to work down the block and then catching him with the uppercut afterwards. So I think coming into this round, Ginger's going to put a bit more emphasis on that, I'd imagine. Yeah,
he's going to definitely have to look to employ that, like say, on the end when he continues to go to that lead uppercut, and I really like it. But what a beautiful spin kick! Ginger Ninja getting a bit, sneaky out there. Sneaky ninja.
Indeed. Figueiredo has got some decent kick stats. I'm not quite sure what they are, though, sadly.
This isn't a bad option. You stayed a little bit patient down there, working the ground and pound, just short shots, trying to build the GA, poshed it up, and now is separated. Obviously didn't want to waste the stamina down there, but he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and, it may have been a good idea to hold that position for a little while. Hopefully he won't live to regret it. No, he doesn't. Lovely pull. Hook.
Ooh,
now finishing him with a brutal combination. This honestly might be it. Pulls them into top mount, firing those final couple shots, but the defense on.
That was close. Like, you've got to be knowing that Broomstick may look for a takedown once he gets up. Maybe Ginger's going to keep this down. I'm not sure. Goes that ground pound though, heavy, and then just gets back up. Probably just looking for that finish. His head health is so low.
Yeah, he's landed a couple of beautiful counters so far. You know he's going to be feeling himself, but right there you see Broomstick starting to chamber up on some combinations when he plants his feet. As soon as he get Figueiredo walking into distance, he's looking to do it. Pull back, lead elbow. Oh, that was close. His feet must have just about trimmed him. Ginger didn't miss on his return though.
Got to be careful trying that leg kick. A Broomstick is planting when he gets leg kicked and clipping him just like with that hook. It could end in a TK knockdown if he's not careful. Ground pound staying heavy. Lovely job there using Figgy's hands to work down that chin and block.
Sure, I mean, this is exactly what you want if you're Ginger Ninja right now. I mean, you've had some good rocks, some good knockdowns. You see that Broomstick's head health is flashing even when he's not being hit. So these shots, it's not going to take too much more to get your opponent out at this stage. And the the stamina attacks that you can get for throwing consecutive strikes in the postured up positions, it's worth it. It's worth the exchange when your opponent's this hurt, you know.
Well, it should be noted. It's just impressive how well Broomstick's staying alive. He's been put in some dangerous positions, some multiple post drops. Gibbs at the backside, probably looking for some type of finish.
Oh, and again,
a lead elbow again.
That's huge, Doc. Honestly, and he throws the 1-2 head kick. Woo!
Same exact combination. He KOs him and in the fight.
Shit, that was the end.
That was the end.
Mate, that one strike, the follow up on the ground, Broomstick gets a big W. Good shit to that man right there. That's a fantastic win for him. That was a fun-ass fight. Knew it before we even got into it. You know, like I said, it's a fan-friendly fight is this one. Always going to be. These guys put on one hell of a show. No feeling out process. And Doc, honestly, just throwing hands from the get-go.
Yeah, both of them came in. No, as you said, no feeling out process. And then just one went back and forth, throwing hands. Ending in that combination. Well, we also saw earlier on in that fight, he did the exact same combination and just narrowly avoided that head kick.
Yeah.
This time around, though, he landed it cleanly.
No, excellent point. That head kick, when he tried it the first time around, was millimeters away. Wasn't able to catch it, but the second time around was able to, and it went fantastically well for him. I mean, did so much damage that just that one follow-up strike was all it took to, kind of put the exclamation point on it. With that all being said, though, that's one hell of a fun fight. We've got another fun fight up next. We've got the interesting and unorthodox striking of TK Jim Jams. Yes, sir. Up against the former IFL champion and obviously all-round savage, that is Chase Me Fam. So I'm hyped up to see this one. I'm not going to be too sure on how it's going to go, of course. They're kind of interestingly matched up in this weight class. They're going to be fighting in middleweight. Not too familiar with, like I said, the way that either guy fights in this weight class. A little bit more familiar with Chase Me Fam in the lightweight. We know that he likes to pick the Khabib pick. So I imagine he's probably going to try to go for somebody down the same sort of elk. Maybe the Usman, maybe somebody like a GSP. With his opponent, of course. I believe that isn't the TK guys, aren't they? They use a lot of calves, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, they are mainly calf focused, and I think acrobatic, more the kicking style, or the Vanguard style. So you've got a mixture of both grappling and striking. I think Jim Jams is predominantly a striker who suffers in the grappling department. So the Chasing Fan will be an interesting fight. See where he keeps it.
For sure. Well, without further ado, these guys are now squaring off. It actually looks like we've got a calf for TK Jim Jams as expected. Got the robes on. He's got the Dragon Ball Z style hair. And he's up against GSP, possibly the greatest fighter of all time, in the hands of Chase Me Fam this evening.
What are we looking at? Is that a gi and a Super Saiyan haircut?
It really, yeah, it is. We don't normally allow the gis and that sort of stuff. I mean, this one obviously slipped by, but they are underway now, so we're going to let them swing it out, of course.
Well, Chasing Fam started off very good, landing a few combos, but then proceeds to get kicked in the face with KO. He got KO'd with it. He got a KO with that kick as well.
Oh, but this time he gets caught
with it, though.
That's like, I mean, maybe 4 or 5 times in a row. I was going to say, I'd love to see Chase Me Fam go to his grappling, put this man on his back and see what he's got there, because those spin kicks becoming a bit of a problem. His opponent can't keep them up for long, but it doesn't take too many of them to land to send you to absolute hell, mate. There it is, step off, big overhand, big follow-up.
Doesn't actually stun him, though, but then he continues on, lands his throw, head kick. He's just wild shots. Another takedown, gets him down straight on the ground.
So I didn't,
lovely deny that.
Doc, I didn't get to see the fighter or the calf pick before we came in, but I've got to imagine that this is probably a Vanguard pick with those sorts of crazy kicks, right?
It could be a Vanguard pick, it could be an acrobatic pick. There's a few of the Strikers calf which predominantly have a lot of fancy kicks.
Okay. Well, I mean, as we're saying this, though, that's a big moment for Chase Me Fam. He managed to stop the first denial, had Jim Jams with low stamina. Obviously can't see it entirely, but we saw the flash like it is right there. His stamina is obviously very low, maybe because of those aggressive kicks or some of those denials, but this is actually probably going to be a lot deeper than you'd think. Even though it's not an OP position, it's
it's a very good sub, I find, because you can get a couple of denials off, you are fantastic, you're in good measure, as we see here. Chase Me Fam's got, like, Jim Jams has got no stam, so it's very good. Even in the third stage, you end up in the top.
He's got to escape, though, I think. I was going to say, yeah, but he's going to get into this next stage, and he's not out of the woods. He's still in top mount, and now he's still gassed. The armbar's on its way. This one's going to be a little bit easier to get. I think that the joint submissions for most people are a little bit more well understood, so he's tracing him well now. You see how quickly that bar is going up, and this is probably going to be really tough.
A strong position in general. The top man armbar, it goes up very quickly. Same in the full guard armbar. So it's actually very effective. He's tightened this up fantastically. That bar's going up nicely, staying on.
Is he going to throw the strikes? He doesn't need to. Breaks the arm. This is going to be incredibly close. I think he's going to get it, you know? He does.
He does.
Chase Me Fam. Yeah, I mean, that's a big win for him. His opponent came out there kicking very often and early. Lots and lots of spins from Jim Jam. Like I said, unorthodox. Expected some wildness from that man, and hell did he deliver with it, landing some nice spin kicks to the to the head very early. But Chase Me Fam took one or two of them to the face, able to secure that takedown, and submissions, gets the second one he attempts and picks up the W. Good work by that man. Interesting to see where he goes from here. Like I said, as all of these guys, I mean, Chase Me Fam had a bright future, or bright past in IFL. I imagine that he's going to try to replicate that in prime time now. Obviously picking up wins like that, getting the submission, showing that he's a little bit durable. Obviously after that early adversity, exactly what you want to see out of any opponents is just the ability to make adjustments, because it's all well and good when you're the front runner, but the ability to adapt to your opponent when they're doing something that's catching you is obviously something that is kind of sought after. It kind of allows you to elevate the game.
It makes or break your game.
It really can.
Being able to read what you're doing wrong midway through a fight is kind of the way it goes, especially when you look at the grappling department. If you can't figure out how your opponent is stopping you, you're going to end up in a very tough position. Yeah,
for sure. And and I don't mean this disrespectfully by any stretch. I mean much in the respectful side. I mean, Chase Me Fam in the past performances, not somebody that had a particular standout skill where you could say that this is his excellence. You see fighters like Spider, Trixie, and so on. You know that they're phenomenal strikers with great all-around games, right? Chase Me Fam was kind of a more well-rounded fighter that adjusts to it, and it's an interesting kind of style, kind of like an Honest Gym in that sort of approach. Even though Honest Gym is maybe a little bit more grappling based, but yeah, that was one hell of a fun fight. I mean, like I said, explosive kicking, great grappling, and gets the finish out relatively early in that fight. We have many more fun fights to come, of course. This is just the start of them. Midway through our prelims at this stage, we're going to be having Salty Joe up against TK Omoplata. The TK boys, obviously very good. They have some dangerous opponents, dangerous teammates, I should say. Overall, got unorthodox striking, and some of them's got those, sneaky grappling as well. I've seen some of them do some great work on the ground.
I'm a player, came from the UFC days. He's been around a bit in pieces, but I personally know him as a striker all the way back in UFC 3. When the Cody Garbrandt pick, that's no real surprise.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cody Garbrandt's got that hands. Got to be making sure he doesn't go full Garbrandt though. That can't go.
Has no chin.
No, sure. Touch of gloves though. Peter Yan, Cody Garbrandt. Great picks, you love to see it. Salty Joe picking Peter Yan, getting active with the 1-2s, following up with a couple of hooks to boot, leg kicks as well on the step off of Omoplata. Omoplata seems to be, reacting relatively well though, doesn't seem to be getting flustered by it, keeping his block up, looking to work shots in when he can. Nice little pullback right there.
Ooh. Yeah, well, Sully Joe's done a fantastic job early in the beginning, making sure that Cody can't actually throw many shots off or looking to work that chin down. If I was Sully, I'd be looking for a takedown first, push him against the cage and then work from the cage downwards. But he seems to be content doing this on the feet before he gets head kicked in the face.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a good, actually not a bad game plan from Salty Joe. He knows that Garbrandt is fast. He knows that, he doesn't have maybe the best of gas tanks. And maybe those are kind of the, they're fairly similar in that sort of respect, but it's just that PDN does have a little bit better cardio, of course, so he's a little able to extend this fight a little bit further. So trying to beat him to the punch early and often, get him into some of these exchanges, try to get him throwing back and get him to whiff a little bit. But like I say, Omoplata staying relatively composed so far, and even though he's eating the worst of these exchanges, doesn't seem to be getting dissuaded by it, and getting a little bit of a stamina advantage due to the fact that he's not throwing, obviously, nearly as much as Peter Yan at this stage.
That was a lovely clinch goal, getting that clinch, reversing it, and then taking full control, getting this back, driving out. You've got to remember you've got the rear naked choke in this position, but he decides to go to backside, probably looking for a bit of ground and pound just to watch him. Instead, takes his back.
And I mean, that's a fantastic position. Not able to hold it. Good work to get back into the half guard, but Salty Joe still on top, and obviously we know that Peter Yan's got some brutal ground and pound if he's able to connect with those heavy hands.
He doesn't have an arm triangle fake, which is one of the few downsides which can leave you open to getting a reversal from full guard if you're not careful. With that being said, he transfers out of the full guard into the half guard and taking that side control position.
Back and forth, jostling between positions, back in half guard now. Imagine he's going to probably try to opt for some top, yes, I was going to say some ground and pound or top mount, but he postures up, ranges a couple, and you see him just intelligently throwing a couple of strikes and posturing down, much like you did to me not so long back there, Doc, just calculated in the approach, and the ground and pound knows that he's in top control, he's winning the fight, and he doesn't need to go mad when he's postured up. He doesn't want to lose this position, maintain it, and continue to pull out that ground and pound in a steady fashion.
Indeed, because you've got to remember, there's multiple ways a bottom fighter can reverse you from the top ground and pound. As we see here, he slips a strike and gets back on the feet. This is where Omoplata wants it, with Cody's hands.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, he actually did the right thing there. He got to the last 60 seconds and looked to open up. Some people hold it to the 30, some to the 60. Because even right now, he has to really, really overextend if he's going to get, throw away this round. That was a big round for him. Obviously for Salty Joey. He looked really, really good in that first round. Came out, was active, like you said. Able to get a lot of the top control position as well, and work in some good ground and pound. So that's a great round from him. We'll have to see how Omoplata is able to adjust. Like you say, he's been around for a little while now, so I'm sure he's got some tricks in his bag and maybe just waiting for his time to explode on his opponent.
Yeah, I would like to see him put the pressure on instead of waiting for an opening to happen, because it kind of seems to be the game plan. You can counter with Cody, especially with his hand power, as we repeatedly mentioned, but it seems like Soul Joe is keeping all his defense tight and just going to work Cody down over the course of this fight. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, right now Salty Joe is being so active, but he's keeping the shots, very, very short, and none of these big overhands or anything like that. Everything's kind of a jab straight, maybe a lead hook on the following, but because he's landing everything, he's not really gassing, and obviously we know the gas tanks of these lower weight classes are phenomenal anyway, so with some good stamina management, he could continue this for 3 rounds easily. So as you say, cannot wait for your opponent for too long. At some point, you've got to turn it up. Don't want to go full Lomachenko over here. Well, not in the Lopez fight, anyway.
I guess a lovely takedown there. Umpire went to pre-denied, turning takedowns, doesn't get it, gets into that full guard position, transfers over to the half guard and making sure that he has the more stamina to do it, takes his top mount. Now, this could be a deadly position, and he gets the full mount. This is a fantastic job, but Umpire defends it. Again, we're back to this heavy ground and pound damage. He's just digging through that block. As I repeatedly said before, you don't need to do damage to the head. If you do damage to the block, that's perfectly fine. Someone like Cody and his weak chin, getting through the block is sometimes better, to be fair. They're back into this half guard position and again pull back down. Omoplata needs to keep this on the full guard to look to make his way up. He's having difficulty controlling it instead. So Joey gets back up, given what you imagine Omoplata wants. Throws the overhand clips and cleanly, though.
Yeah, apologies. I think I had some mic problems there. I think I'm back right now, though. These guys are being very, very active. It's some great work from them. Like, say, Salty Joey's doing a fantastic job. And as I was mentioning a moment ago before my mic mentioned cut out, all those takedowns set up the strike stock. You've seen it many times yourself there, brother. You put them on their ass. You make them worried about the ground and pound and the top position that you're giving away. And then your hands start to go low. But that's lovely work from Garbrandt.
Both of them are using that overhand fantastic, setting them up with the leg kicks, working through that jab and making sure to clip. And Omoplat's putting on a bit more pressure, clips him again, throws another overhand, putting on this pressure.
Yeah, that's lovely work. I mean, all those shots landed as well. He needs to shorten it up a little bit, go back to the boxing a little bit, because that was fantastic work when he was mixing in the hands and the kicks. The pullback is on point, and it looks like Garbrandt's trying to really, really turn it up in this round, start to turn the tide a little bit.
That jab hook by that jab hook mix up into that jab leg kick is working fantastically for Salty Joe.
Yeah,
doesn't really know how to defend it.
Doc, I was gonna say, mate, the leg. If you look at Omoplata's right now, the left leg is flashing terribly. Yeah. Ooh, I mean, look, Salty Joe's doing great.
Kicking the other leg as well. He wants both of them.
He isn't giving up on it at all, mate. He wants to take that leg home with him. Bit of a bow at the end there, sign of respect from his opponent, Omoplata. Like I said, veteran of the game. This is an interesting fight. We saw the stats for a moment there. Looked a little bit more even in the significant strikes in the first round than anticipated, but the top control obviously going to go in Jan's favor. So probably 2 down for Omoplata, at least on my scorecards, and he's going to have to do something big. Probably get the finish here, but looking pretty good. Look at his stamina there, dog.
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty impressive how much stamina. I didn't realize he's been quite
efficient. Wow. Yeah, he's been really efficient, mate.
Yeah,
really
efficient, that'll be the one. He's been very efficient in shot selection. However, he's worked down the chin but nothing else, and so with Salty Joe being in this top man position, you've got to imagine that he wants a full guard and wants to work his way up and then just look for that one big shot coming into this last round. Yeah,
no, for sure. And like I said, if he's worried a little bit about the striking at all, he's had so much success on the ground. He knows he can, once he gets it here, it looks like he's able to hold this position for the majority of the round. Good sprawl from him, and yeah, I mean, I think that Omoplata is having a little bit of a difficulty with the grappling of Salty Joey.
Half stam, goes into that full guard. Probably he's looking for a full guard into a half guard sweep, maybe go to the backside instead.
That's massive, mate. That's massive. The ability to get up right there, 3 minutes in the round. He struggled in the first 2 rounds, so to get up, that's got to be confidence building. Got to keep it short and look to work the boxing right now. Maybe crowd the space and try to force that shot. Only 2 minutes 50 on the clock, my man. He's got to probably throw caution to the wind at some point if he's going to try to get this victory. So far, though, Salty Joe happy to still maintain the center of the cage and is working those shots. Anytime he sees him opening up, looking to beat him to the punch with the jab.
Indeed, well, again, I was going to mention I'm playing a more counteractive style, but he seems to have changed that around. Gets kicked in the head, backs up a bit, but then has continued back, trying to put on this pressure again. This is kind of the way he needs to go. He doesn't want to step off at all. He wants to continue the pressure, but instead gets a single leg and ends up in side control with Salty on top.
No, for sure. I mean, that's a bit unfortunate for him, of course. I mean, great work from Salty Joey, able to get that position. He's got 1:40 on the clock to work. Still plenty of opportunities for ground and pounds or submissions, should the opportunity arise. But so far, Omoplata being very, very efficient and surviving. But great ground and pound from Salty Joey. Stamina's low, maybe going to get himself pushed off right now. No, he opts for the half guard instead.
This is exactly, oh god, this could be dangerous. You remember Cody's got some power in his hands, goes for an arm triangle, gets denied. That full GA in the favour of Salty Joe, so good goes reversal when he does, gets it cleanly with 50 seconds left in the round. Omoplata needs to pull something out big, otherwise he's probably lost it with a 30-27, I would say. Gets a denial there, and still he's just happy to wait in this full guard, goes into this half guard position now.
I mean, look, with 25 seconds or so left on the clock, I just want to take a moment to talk about, obviously, Omoplata's defense in these positions has been very, very good, good in terms of the efficiency, maybe not so much in terms of getting back to his feet, but I think that's all on Salty Joey, mate. He's looked phenomenal tonight. He's shown incredible intelligence in the cage. I'd be very surprised if he hasn't picked up a victory tonight. I mean, we've seen weirder things for sure, but he looked incredibly good. I think he looked controlled, composed throughout the entire fight. and really just looked to work his, game plan with a workmanlike approach. Kind of just went to work on any aspect that he could, any opening he could. It's not that Garbrandt didn't get his successes there, Doc, but I think you'll agree that a lot of that pressure was all from Yan.
Yeah, it really was, especially into that last round. You saw that player was expecting that pressure, but just couldn't get some clean counters off.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great win for him right there. Salty Joey picking up a nice, impressive W over TK Omoplata. Interesting to see where those men go from here. Like every other one of these gentlemen on tonight's card, everybody's improving, event in, event out, putting on phenomenal fights each and every time. And to think that some of these guys are, already such well-rounded opponents, and we're seeing them come out time after time, showing new ripples to their game. Just kind of, it's exciting to see kind of what's next, especially as we move forward into these new seasons that we have upcoming. With all of that being said, though, Doc, we're at our featured fight of the prelims. We're going to be having a fun-ass fight between TMF Grains, obviously from a very, very good camp. Currently getting their first champion with TMF, Matty D, of course. TMF Grains looking to make his way up the rankings as well, and potentially, trying to get himself one of those championship spots in future. A little bit of a way to go. Right now, he has Rara Rasputin in front of him, who is a difficult grappler. Been making massive adjustments in his game. He's one of the perfect examples of what we were talking about a moment ago, Doc. Kind of went on a big losing streak at the beginning of the game, but as of recently been able to turn around those and get a number of wins back with some, very, very good grappling, right?
Indeed, he's got a couple of good sub-wins as well. Whilst on the other hand, you have Grains, who's recently come into the scene, originally from the car scene, come back, trying to use regs and just seeing how he can compete.
Okay, I didn't know that he was previously on the calf fighters. That's pretty cool, man. I know that Kryptonite King obviously has been around a number of the calf leagues and being one of the main guys at TMF, bringing Grains into the fold. I'm sure that this man has some secret talents that he's looking to showcase this evening. We're going to have a fun fight between Usman and Masvidal by the looks of things. Looks like these guys may have, they've gone on a little bit, but Bar Usman, like we say, Jorge, Gamebred Masvidal, as John Anik says it, with a little bit more passion. Great stuff. A Mexican mush, rah, let's go.
Again, we have the same issues as we mentioned. I think it was in the JKB fight we had a similar matchup. However, we don't have a rubber guard on the...
Yeah, no rubber guards. That's definitely that's going to go in favor of Rara, if anything. That's a nice little start out by Grains. Lovely little spin kick to the body. Able to continue to maintain that sort of range. I don't think he wants to stay too far out though, because it sets up that ankle pick from Usman, who has very, very high takedowns.
He has a 97 takedown stat.
Yeah, and he's able to secure the first attempt of the evening. Grains now putting Masvidal on his back. Sorry, I say Grains. Rara, I meant. Rara is Usman. My apologies.
I guess a lovely denial there, holding this half squat position. You'd imagine he just wants to hold it, but instead goes to the top man position with a strong position, but get up though. You don't imagine that he's looking for another takedown, putting on that pressure, starting with the uppercut. Single shots mainly. Yeah,
quite honestly, Doc, I mean, look, Rara has never been the best outside fighter. I know he's been working on it a little bit. Every time he loses, he takes a little bit of time off the game and comes back with a bit of a new ripple to it. Right now, he's looking to throw a lot of head kicks from range, and I'd be interested to see if Grains is able to duck under one of those and punish him for it, because they're being very, very telegraphed at this point.
Especially, well, I'll be honest, the leg kicks of Usman aren't too bad from my experience.
Yeah, it's more the head kicks, brother. It's those head kicks right there.
Yeah. Oh, lovely uppercut there. He is clipping him when he comes in and out the pocket, but as you mentioned, those head kicks just seem to be the main thing of Rara.
The thing is, I mean, look, Rara it's a bit of an odd one. You don't normally want to, or at least I don't personally like to set too far out of range of a wrestler, just because the ankle pick can sometimes get you. But with Rara, because he seems to struggle with the range a little bit, that's a lovely flying knee. Good work from Jorge.
On that boxing afterwards, putting on that pressure, but gets a single leg straight into the full guard position.
And Doc, look, with Ferrara, this is exactly what he wants, right? He's not able to secure the position, which is a bit unfortunate from him. He worked very hard for that after setting it up. Goes for another one. Gets it again. That's not great for TMF Grains. That's 3 out of 3 attempts for Rara. See if he's able to secure the position.
That's the only thing. Like, you may say he's 3 out of 3 with attempts, but that doesn't give credit to how much control time, how much damage he's done. Because I would definitely be putting Grains up in this round. Guess the top man though, so that could all change very quickly. But gets put into this half guard position. Neither one able to hold a position for long.
I think that quite honestly, Rara may have been going for pre-denies early, which is why he didn't get them. He's shown very good denials up in in his recent fights, so. Maybe that's the case. Maybe he's been looking for pre-denies, but he had a couple of good denials there and was able to work some good ground and pound. Maybe the biggest striking moment coming out of Mexican Mush, but honestly, the overall round, I think I'm leaning towards Usman here. Landed some good shots of his own. He was able to get those three takedowns, and probably with this last shot was able to get a good 40 seconds, minute and a half maybe in total top control. Wonder if we get to see the rounds, the stats in between rounds.
Yeah, you got to also take into account the head kicks, which would have probably done a decent chunk of head damage. So it could be a 50-50 split on the round take.
Well, even though it didn't look the prettiest, they did continue to land, and Mexican Mush was unable to, really kind of get any sort of counter to them so far. He did have that one great flurry, but even on that flurry, you see that he ate an elbow that was pretty nice from Rara. I mean, he's looking fairly unorthodox. I'd like to see him, continue to work on his outside fighting for sure. His ability to, stay composed on those outside fighting moments, but especially when he, like I said, he's going for that wrestling mentality. Just continues to take you down. If you're going to get up, he's going to take you down again, and that's the way he fights. It makes you worried. Continues to drop your hands, as we spoke about earlier, and he's able to secure another takedown. That's got to be concerning for Grains, man. So far, just been unable to stop any of them. He's got to be a bit frustrated with that, I'm sure. That's very good, actually. A denial for Rara. He's able to secure the position. One of the bigger moments for him thus far.
I've seen this consistently. Doesn't deny that get up again, and now Mexican Mush is currently on the back foot, getting kicked to the body by Usman. Don't see that every day.
Yeah, once again, he doesn't seem to be comfortable on the outside. He's throwing a lot of kicks and, just from odd angles, not really being set up at all. But so far, if it's not really being punished, then I don't see why he wouldn't continue to throw them. Gets his opponent to lean into that one, clinch, now a couple of knees to the head. The man's getting a little bit active. Love to see it. Imagine he's going to go for another takedown in a moment.
Clips on, he starts putting on that pressure. This is probably where Grains wants to keep it, just pressuring the Usman. Usman may have that power and the chin, but I imagine the Masvidal can make quick work of it. That's another takedown. Clearly, Rara feels a bit more uncomfortable on the feet we've seen throughout this fight.
Honestly, at this point now, I mean, if you were him, you would just feel so comfortable that you can get the takedown that maybe that's why he's allowing it to strike a little bit more. We normally see a little bit more urgency out of the takedown from him because he doesn't like to fight on those outside ranges, but another good ground and pound. He's getting really active with it though, and I'm surprised that so far we haven't seen him being able to get a big separation from Jorge. He has so far been guessing the wrong way, and that's more good work from Rara. But this time we get to see the reversal, as we were calling, or as I was calling for a moment ago, now in half guard, and we'll have to see if he's going to look for the separation or looking to take some top control with a minute, 45-ish on the clock.
Yeah, it's not too bad. This clinch position can be deadly for Usman, but gets out of it quite quickly. Both of them separated, big jump. Imagine Grains wants to try to put a bit more pressure on, lands a couple of big shots. Instead, planted with the hook. Grains is putting his pressure again. Circles out though, ducking under that head kick you mentioned earlier, digging to that body, putting on this massive pressure.
I'm liking the clinch mix-ups. Quite honestly, if you're Rara though, I'd shoot the double, man. It's been there all night for him, the bread and butter, because right now Mexican Mush is doing some good work with the hands on the inside. And the longer this stands striking, the more it's going to start to lean in the favor of Mexican Mush. If it, the more, there it is, the flying knees, pretty big for him. Body rock as well, following up with some shots to the head, puts him down.
Knockdown follows, and with that ground and pound, it's a vicious end to this round. He made a massive comeback within the last minute or so, and he's just putting again on that pressure. This is definitely next to him around an axe kick thrown by Usman.
I did not even know that he had an axe kick. That's pretty crazy. Fair play. Rara pulling out an axe kick twice in a row with Usman to close out the round. But look, this has not been the prettiest of fights. They've shown some, thrown some kind of unorthodox and weird looking shots with those head kicks, often and early with Usman, but they've been landing. And so far, I think that Rara's maybe 1-1. I was going to say 2 up, but with the rock in the last round from Masvidal, that probably evened it out there.
So yeah, I would definitely give it a 1-1. So this is all still to play for. Lovely Dyno on that back take by Rara, holding this top position. Imagine he wants to keep it here now and make Grains
yeah, no, for sure, Doc, for sure, brother. The longer he can keep it here, as we've talked about throughout this fight, you know, the better it is for Rara. This is the position where he does great work, but once again, he doesn't stop that position. Do you think he's just maybe going for one of the pre-denies left or right there? Because that's one of the easy ones to get, right?
Yeah, quite possibly, but it does seem to be meant in transition sometimes. If you go instantly for it, it can be a bit tricky. It's one of those weird ones which I myself haven't worked out fully.
Oh, we see the stream lagging a little bit on these guys. Never know, they may have been a little... I didn't see the pings as they loaded in. Maybe there's a little bit of connectivity issues causing them to have a little bit of a problem denying them, but... I mean, Rara staying committed to it. He's able to get a denial there, and one back from Mexican Mush. Maybe not. Staying active on it. Separation. 3 minutes on the clock, and I mean, he needs to get active with a front kick to the face. Woo! The spin.
He's now gassed, though. That's the only issue. Grains keeps getting a wobble, but then not having enough gas to finish it off.
This might be it right here. If he's able to land some consecutive clean shots, my man. I mean, he has him hurt, and this is fantastic pressure. He's stepping off, and it looks like he's recognizing that Rara isn't too comfortable on that, you know, kind of distance. He's not comfortable fighting from the outside. One of those big head kicks missed again, and he's going to eat a front kick right like that. The strikes, like you say, not much stamina, but he doesn't need much. The head health is down.
Yeah, and works that ground and pound, and he does a lovely job finishing the fight.
Well, that was one hell of a way to close out the featured fight at the prelims. Like I said, he had you know, an ugly fight put on him. Did Mexican right there? He had unorthodox kicks being thrown, lots of takedown attempts that were giving him some problems from Usman tonight, but stayed committed to finding a home for his hands, and you know, able to land some nice shots in that third round. Found an opportunity to pour on pressure. Able to get the W, Doc. Brilliant work from that man.
Indeed. Well, we saw the Rara tried to attempt his grappling as repeatedly. That just the outside fighting was where Rara suffered, and he did a fantastic job at making sure that that's where he kept the fight, coming in with that front kick and then proceeding to finish on a clinch attempt. Yeah,
for sure, brother, for sure. That was another very fun fight. Like I said, bit of an unorthodox one for sure, but we have many, many more to go. That's just our prelims over, of course. We have many of the fights that we all came here to see still to go. We are going to be having up next, of course, young Lepo. He is going to be fighting the man himself, TMF Dracchio, one of the more recent signings of TMF. So I still don't know this man too much myself. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I know that you've been putting in some work training with those guys recently there, Doc.
Yeah, he's a fantastic striker. He's got some really good striking elements. Lepo's the same, though, so I imagine this is mainly going to be a striking matchup.
Yeah, I would imagine so, especially in the featherweight. Like I said, you've got a good couple of good grapplers, but from what I'm seeing early here, it looks like we might be seeing a Cub Swanson pick out of Lepo, which I rate very, very highly. Didn't quite get to see the opponent there for a moment. They're loading in. We'll get to see a flash of it in a second, but it looks like we're having a Cub Swanson pick against. We shall see.
That's always a good one for you.
Moicano. Ooh, mate, I think this is one hell of a fun fight. You know, I love the Cub Swanson pick. Gonna try to remain impartial, but Cub Swanson has that beautiful destruction any which way that you want to dice it. Has the judo throws from the clinch position, submissions for days. Got that beautiful rubber guard if needed, and of course, yeah, the striking to boot, unorthodox and creative striking. But Moicano is a threat. He's tall, he's rangy, has good kind of Thai style or kickboxing based striking, and obviously got the submission offense as well.
Indeed. Well, as you see here, Lepo's keeping it planted, holding the centre octagon, keeping it calm. For a leg kick, got checked early on, but hasn't really gone back to it now. He's now mainly focusing on the boxing, digging into that body every now and again. Done a fantastic job starting out early. With Draco also coming back, keeping this and using that reach.
Yeah, so far I like what I'm seeing from Lepo with Cub Swanson. He is definitely more of a hammer than he is a nail. You can't really take too many shots, and you know, without it having big impacts on the ability to perform with Cub. So he's doing a good job of maintaining calm, keeping the center, but just in and outs looking to land and step just out to that range of Moicano, which is, you know, a little bit more difficult than you'd think, considering his opponent's got a little bit of a reach advantage on him.
Indeed, well, attempts that again. He's again too close for that spinning body kick combo, and such has got countered a few times. Lovely body shots and uppercuts thrown by both. Lepo's definitely more secure in his range here, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Moicano landed a lovely combination there, though. Now landed 2 beautiful kicks, and honestly, I was seeing some kind of oblique kicks a little bit earlier on, kind of knee stomps that I was liking out at Dracula as well, trying to interrupt Cub Swanson on the bursts in, but honestly, Lepo's looking fantastic with the hands landing beautiful consecutive strikes and adding up on the damage, getting wild with Cub Swanson. Killer Cub coming out to play tonight. Answers back as Dracula, though.
And then another spinning body kick to boot. Lepo is just allowing Dracula to fall into this comfort rhythm and then deciding after to try a big shot, as we see now, comboing that body kick. This definitely seems like Lepo's confident and he's just looking for a big shot with the kicks. Cartwheel kick, it's lovely. So
I am rating Lepo's Cub Swanson very, very highly right now. I think that Dracula's making excellent adjustments and is working him well, you know, working the body when he gets an opportunity. You see it right there, the straight lead hook, now going up to the top. Impressive work by both men. Good spin work, but doesn't get it. That's a big shot from Dracula, not getting any sort of rock, but one at least of those shots able to land, and I think the other partially blocked.
Again, he does a fantastic job countering, digging to that body again, coming over the top with a hook, but it's just difficult. It feels like Dracula's having a very hard time sneaking in shots. Lepo's just coming in, out, just working him fantastic. Like,
yeah, I would agree with you, but I do think that there's going to be a slightly better recovery from Dracula in between rounds, and that may play a bit of a factor if he's able to get out these last 15 seconds without any sort of major damage. Lepo's doing fantastic, and he's looking so clean tonight with the Cub Swanson pick, but quite honestly, maybe being a little bit too active in that first round. We'll have to see how the recovery is in between. In fact, the same amount of strikes, he looked to be considerably more active, at least to my eyes, especially with the stamina with the way it was.
I think it was mainly because Lepo was actually starting the engagement first, and then with Dracula coming back, maybe coupling with one shot as Lepo backed out, it definitely perceived that way. But yeah, even I'm surprised, to be honest.
Wrong call by me. They've come in very, very even, excellent recovery, and if that's the case, Lepo, if he's able to maintain this sort of rhythm, then he could start to just run away with the fight. Dracula's got to be careful, start to land some nice inside shots if he gets an opportunity, start to test that chin of Cub Swanson.
Lovely job just digging to that body. That 3-piece to the body has been one of the major issues. Dracula, on the other hand, seems to be relying a bit on that straight. He's building off of it. He needs to start using that jab and building through. But say that he just clears him with that straight lead hook. Digs to the body again by Cubson. This is a fantastic job by both opponents, choosing their starts, being calm.
I love the unorthodox striking of Cub Swanson. I have to say, Lepo is doing it fantastically well at the moment. He's staying very, very intelligent about it. You know, he looks like he's used Cub Swanson quite a lot and is aware of the sorts of strikes, but almost ducks into a spin kick to the face. Dracula staying very game and looking to land damage of his own given the opportunity.
He comes over in the uppercut, digs that body with another hook. The hooks of Lepo to the body have just been fantastic. We saw in the last fight of his as well. He has got fantastic body work and timing those hooks fantastically. Digging that body again with a body kick.
Yeah, I like the leg kicks that are coming out of Moicano now. Maybe a little bit earlier would have started to pay a little bit more dividends. Lovely lunging strikes. Lunging jab into the overhand. You know I love it, especially with the Cub Swanson. Works beautifully with him. Go into it again. They're excellent interruption. Can really throw your opponent off their rhythm. Oh my god!
Right, he gets clipped.
Go to sleep. Cub Swanson landing that beautiful destruction. And the lead up for the finish, I believe, sends him to hell. Unfortunate for Dracula, he was trying to find a way to fight his way back into this competition, but honestly, Lepo looking incredibly clean. That lead upper was the death touch.
Lepo from the start of it was just like, nope, I'm going to lead this fight and I'm going to take it, and he sure as hell did. Dracula just couldn't get anything really going. He was more looking for a counter, but even then it just didn't come out.
Oh, I mean, look, all respect for this, but Lepo, on or off a primetime brother, we need to fight. Cub Swanson v Cub Swanson for sure.
Cub Swanson mirror matches. Christ.
I said on or off, I rate that man's Cub Swanson very, very highly. He looked incredibly clean tonight, and especially with the pick, you know, it's a pick after my own heart for sure, for sure. Unfortunate for Dracula, he's from a great camp. We know he's going to be back. Obviously going to go back to the drawing board with those guys and look to work on some holes. Maybe try to get a little bit started a little bit earlier, especially against somebody like Lepo, who was able to really, really set the pace of this fight very, very quickly, and you know, didn't let up at all, man. Didn't let up at all.
Indeed.
Well,
and with that being said, we leave on to our second main card fight of AJS Pug versus Mikey Boy. Mikey Boy is recently making his return. Fantastic grappler. Pug from the AJS Cats, who's got some fantastic strikers.
yeah,
So I expect to see a striker versus grappler mirror match.
no, for sure. I mean, look, Mikey Boy as well. He's not somebody that doesn't have hands. He, you know, was originally more of a boxer, I would say. Kind of, that was the best way I describe his style. He, you know, worked a little bit of kicks, but mainly was boxing. But over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months, that guy found his ability to submit a man, whether, you know, well, it really doesn't matter what position it's in. He's just been submitting people left and right. So very, very dangerous. Won a bunch of bonuses for it as well. But he's from fighting a guy, Thepuganaught. He's been around the scene for a long, long time. Very, very well-versed opponent. You know, dangerous everywhere, specifically in the striking. And coming out of the AJS camp, you know, a growing and highly talented camp. I'm interested to see what he's able to put on tonight against Mikey. Like I said, Mikey being away for a little while, so maybe a little bit of ring rust tonight. We'll have to see if he's able, you know, if that's going to be a thing for him, or if he's going to come back and look like the killer that he was previous to that. You know, he was in or around the title talks. I think he even had a title fight, if memory serves. Didn't go his way, maybe against Styles, but he put on a great performance against him and went to decision. So Mikey is a dangerous, dangerous opponent on his night. But
he's going back up for title loss. He lost to a round 5 decision from Stars, having names like GodAteMyPig under his belt, submitting him in 1 round, Freeze as well, Bones. So he had some good fights. He's definitely come back in recent times and looking to make his name.
Yeah, I mean, like you say though, up against a tough opponent tonight, AJS Pug's been putting in good work from a very, very good camp. So we will have to see how these guys shake out, but looks like Bantamweight is going to be the way forward. I think we're having a Peter Yan up against Jimmy Riviera. If I'm saying the name right. If I'm not, I apologize, but I love this weight class. It's got very, very, you know, good all-round fighters, but you often see some excellent striking in this sort of, in this weight class. Able to get a lot of, you know, excellent movement, a lot of signature movements from some of the fighters, and that quick striking can often set up some beautiful feint combinations that you don't often get to see in some of those, you know, heavier guys.
Well, Rivera's an odd pick in most cases, but he's also got very good wrestling, a good short base, and has got fantastic hooks and striking, especially due to that lead on we saw there with that 2-piece.
It's staying good so far. Cersei's looking to, Mikey, looking to stay a bit composed, work those inside shots, keeping it in 2s and 3 combinations. We already saw a leg kick out of him, which I think is a pretty good game plan, especially with Riviera. He's got a lot of power and has got pretty good leg kicks of his own. So, you know, getting yours out there first against somebody like Peter Yan, who can rip them himself, not a bad idea at all.
Comes back though with the leg kick, side kicking him towards Decade. Imagine Mikey's just trying to get his belt out and trying to look for that range to start shooting a takedown. There we are, seeing his takedown shoot. He gets denied though. Lovely job by Pug to kick into the body straight afterwards.
You know, even though Pug's a very, you know, well-rounded fighter, he's definitely more of a striker and has a good kind of nose for getting his opponent rocked and finishing up with, you know, good combinations to close the show. Definitely got that killer instinct. But much the same as, you know, Cersei, I described him in, you know, his previous matches for the ESFL and so on as a kind of very opportunistic player. He will take your head home with a shot, you know, with a punch, with a kick, or with that choke if he needs to. So you've definitely got to mind your P's and Q's against both gentlemen as they look to get more and more active over the first 3-4 minutes of this opening round.
Indeed, this definitely seems to be a more brawling fight, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest, especially with Mikey being in one of the corners. Mikey's definitely a grappler more than most. So this striking approach is an interesting one to see. He's definitely making it known that his striking is legit, though. He's sneaking in shots, even though he's getting clipped back. Side kick again by Pug, misses a head kick, goes for a takedown here. Lovely job. With a minute 30 left, it could all be the time he needs to get a sub.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's incredibly dangerous, and he will take any submission given to him. He can make them all work. I honestly don't know if we're going to see one from him here. He's fishing for it, but I was going to say, that was the one right there. If he's able to get the denial, that's where he feels the most confidence. Quite honestly, if he's able to get a denial off on you, it could be just, done right there. It's really hard to get out of it from this guy.
Indeed, it's the case of one denial and then you're screwed, which is what it definitely makes it like UFC 3 subs when you attempts a guillotine, gets denied though, Pug postures up, you're looking for that top position, gets up back on the feet, he doesn't want to be in the full guard of Mikey. Mikey starts putting on the pressure again, just looking to push the scorecards in his favour. With 13 seconds left, you'd imagine both of them are just looking for that one big shot maybe, and it's a lovely trip there.
Either that, right? Either that, Doc, or I feel like in these last moments, if you can't, if you don't want to push for that big shot, especially if you're behind in that round, like either one guy could have potentially been, definitely just try to work the body. You've got 3 rounds all in all, so even if you come into the end of the first round, you've got another 10 minutes potentially on the clock, so more that you can put in the bank early, the better, in my opinion. You often see guys go, wild with their strikes in those last 30 seconds as well, so can set people up nice and big for it, but these guys are honestly getting active start to finish. We're not really seeing many separations, just kind of almost in that phone booth, rock'em sock'em robot styles.
Yeah, indeed. It's an interesting choice of seeing this Jimmy Rivera pick, and if this is the way Mikey's going to play the game, it's probably better picks for it, but it's definitely working for him. Pulls guard, but ends up getting denied. Gets a kick, low kick, doubles on the uppercuts again. We've seen that a few times. Just actually land for once on the block. Gets a body kick low back.
Mikey's doing. I'd love to see his stamina right here. I mean, he's doing a good job in this striking, not really letting too many shots through. He's keeping his hands up high and has been ripping excellent combinations, showing that he hasn't lost any sort of step in terms of his striking in the past. Like I said, he was a boxer of old. Now got those subs on point as well, so even more dangerous. But Pug's honestly peppering away. Anytime we're seeing big things out of Mikey, but in between those big things, lots and lots of peppering shots from AJS the Pug.
Indeed, he's just staying on the back foot and is happy to stay here because Jan's power is pretty good. He also has the length, so he can reach him before Jimmy Rivera actually gets into the pocket quite well, so he can play that jab a bit better. But they're both mainly focused on the hooks, looking for those massive 3-piece combos.
Yeah, I mean, some of them have even been feinted by Mike. He's honestly looking like the more experienced grappler for the most part, other than the fact that he is getting peppered right now as I say that. He was looking very, very good in terms of the shots that he was throwing, the feints behind it, but AJS the Pug just scattergunning these strikes, jabs, straights, nothing massive, nothing big, just those little calf kicks on the inside as well, keeping them all short, keeping them all sweet on the offbeat. Not really giving his opponent too much of an opportunity with the pullback counter and the brutal combination. This could be it if he manages to get him down. I imagine he's going to look for it. He does.
Get a bit of body and head damage off on the straw. Holds the side control position, probably looking for the night elbows though instead, going to this half guard. Got to remember, you got to be wary of the arm triangle Rivera has, especially when you have Mikey on top of you. Yeah,
I was going to say to you, Doc, I mean, at this point now, he's probably going to work some ground and pound, look for that one denial and get a submission. That's a lovely reversal from AJS the Pug. 55 seconds on the clock, probably going to try to separate. I would imagine, knowing Mikey's pedigree on the ground. No, going to work that ground and pound. Not a lot of time now. I don't think there's any submissions that can be pulled off, so probably a good idea to hold it, as long as you don't waste too much stamina on giving away some of these denials.
Indeed, gets a reversal though into that full guard. Lovely job getting it. 18 seconds left though, so imagine this is just a bit of top control, making sure you secured the round. Gets a reversal though, I suppose, and with 7 seconds left, this isn't much you can do.
Very, very back and forth fight. Like I said, I mean, different approaches from these guys for sure. I mean, we're seeing short, explosive combinations from Mikey anytime he gets in that boxing range, trying to work the leg kick from the outside. And quite honestly, from Peter Yan, from AJS the Pug, we're seeing a much more workmanlike approach, trying to continually put out that pressure, popping him with jabs in the face, mixing it with straights and off-timed hooks. Just trying to catch him on, on something a little bit funky. If he leans in the wrong direction, he can eat it. But that was a beautiful pullback elbow. That's it.
He screws him.
You want to see a dead body. I say it every time, at least once. That's the one right there. He sits him down with the elbow, and god damn.
That is Mikey.
I mean, Jesus, man. Mikey looking clean tonight. This guy was doing fantastically well before, obviously. We had, you know, before he suffered that loss to Styles, the champion at the time, which is, you know, not a bad loss, went to decision by him. He took a long time off and came back tonight looking as good as ever, mate. As good as ever. Interested to see who he is up against next, because with only, you know, his most recent loss and his being against Styles, you imagine that he's going to be fighting, you know, in those rankings fairly shortly after, you know, after being in the kind of inactive listing for a little while. But Doc, with that being said, brother, we are getting step by step closer to our main event of the evening. We have another fun fight up next. We're going to be having Whittaker, the grappling god, if you will. He is very dangerous down there, up against BSD Jax. I'm not as familiar with Jax myself there, Doc. Do you know too much about this gentleman?
Predominantly a striker, comes from the Body Snatchers. Something or other. I can't remember what the D stands for.
Body Snatchers degree? Yeah. Yes, for sure, bro. They are, those guys as a whole, they have very good grappling and very good striking as a whole. They seem to be a very well-rounded camp, so knowing that he's a striker predominantly doesn't surprise me too much. Those guys have all got hands. We're not going to waste any further time with it. We're going to get straight into it, but, you know, as we are loading in, TK Perp up against LFC Scatter up next. Bang Bang beat Tadpole. EK Bang Bang, that is. That's going to be one hell of a fight. And then, of course, up on our main event, we are going to be having EK Slick up against Love4MMA. These are all incredibly exciting fights. I cannot wait for them. But like I say, up next... Ooh. My apologies, clicked the wrong one. We are back, though. We are back. Yes, we see yes. That is going to be Whittaker picking as the Ortega pick, and BSD Jax as the Conor McGregor. Excellent takedown defense early, looking to work the shots on the inside. Currently, he is in an orthodox stance, now switching back and firing some shots off nice and cleanly.
This is definitely a dominant position by the McGregor. This is where you want to be as McGregor, but instead gets a double leg bail, attempts a takedown and gets denied. Lovely job by Jax, keeping it on the feet, comes back and misses that. It's straight though.
You know the mix-up yourself there, Doc. I mean, oh, that's a big one from there. Ducks under it on the takedown. I was going to say the 50-50 exchanges are either going to be that, the pull guards. You know, you either got to block the takedown, the pull guards. Sometimes they can be a little bit difficult to do. This is a submission attempt early, and quite honestly, Whittaker can be incredibly dangerous from these positions. He's worked on his subs very, very intensively and can be dangerous. So we see how quickly his sub bar is now going up, and that's very, very fast. The escape bar is now doing work as well. This is good defense from McGregor. Jax staying composed, but this may be very, very close.
It will be close. It's just Whittaker doesn't seem to get a good read on it. Staying on that bar every now and again, but again, you manages to
into top mount. I mean, look, this is still not where he wants to be. Good separation by the man, but excellent, excellent submission defense.
Indeed. And here we are again. Just another takedown shot. Gets him against the cage. Takes the back. Probably going to start kneeing the legs here. And then probably dragging down into the back. So I can imagine with Whittaker.
I was going to say either that or the back take. Now, currently, the submission here is not banned, although frowned upon. He goes for the top mount. Not looking to take the submission. Probably going to take some ground and pound or the submission, going for the Gogo Plato, which, quite honestly, this is a pretty strong submission as well. So he's going to be in for a tough time as well.
Again, he tempted early in the rubber guard position, now trying to top mount. It does seem like Jax is going to narrowly avoid escaping this, although it could be wrong.
I mean, it doesn't take long if he starts to track him, just even for a couple of seconds consecutively. But as you say, it does look like we're going to see the escape once more from Conor McGregor. He does do so, this time into half guard. Imagine he's going to want the separation as soon as he can. But quite honestly, when you come up against a player like this, okay, at a certain point, I feel like you almost have to commit to that top position and just try to make them not so willful to give up position against you.
Oh, he's just landing that jab straight at McGregor. That power as well is just digging into Ortega's chin. Another double leg bail into that pull guard. Probably going to go try a rubber guard side. Probably pre-denied. Instead, he goes to that half guard, giving it up, but gets the rubber guard instead.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, this is, yes, is working a game plan that is very advantageous for an Ortega player. He's got dangerous submissions, of course. The grappling is always going to favor him up against an incredibly dangerous Conor McGregor. I can understand the mentality behind it. You know, a Conor McGregor player, where are they going to be their most dangerous? It's going to be in that first round when they're coming out fresh. So even though these shots are, not always the most popular, they are effective. They're going to try and gas his opponent if he can. But with that being said, he looks fresh in the second, starting quick. BSD Jax firing away these shots.
Well, that's the thing, McGregor's power. You don't need many to KO someone. So even he's just relying on that jab straight, keeping that distance, and then coming in with a two-piece afterwards. And knees to the face, blocking that body. And he just goes to the... I'm kind of expecting he to try to stand gilly with the amount of go-go platters we've seen, to be fair. Attempts his double leg barrel again, going into this section, takes the back with a knee. And Jax balks him, denies it though, and he gets out.
Oh, that's a big rock for him right there, and the combinations are brutal. This is an absolute savage onslaught from BSD Jax, showing how dangerous that man's hands are. You can understand why Whittaker was so worried about him, why he wanted to get it down to the ground, because he's incredibly dangerous with his hands, man. He's firing away these shots with marksman-like precision, but here's the gilly. This is going to be a tough one. The stamina drain is on. I can't say you love to see it, because it's going to be a tough one for him. You know that this is going to be a very, very quickly, quick kind of submission to go, especially with the chain. Yeah.
Well, it could be quickly, but he seems to escape again.
Honestly,
Jax has got brilliant sub defense here.
Yeah, round of applause for that man's sub defense. That's phenomenal work. He goes for the Kimura now. This is still going to be very, very tight. I mean, each and every single one of them's a fight for your life, especially with stamina this low and somebody that can track your submissions relatively well, like a Whittaker, who obviously has put a lot of time into these submission games.
Does seem to be competitive, although I definitely give the edge to Jax in this. He seems to be escaping just well enough, but the Kimura could be tight. Not sure, seemingly
He's escaping again, mate. Honestly, I am blown away by the submission defense of this man. He's going to want to separate. He does. He's going to let his stamina recover and look to land some hands. Goes for another shot into the bail, pushes him up against the cage. Probably a back take. Nope. Separation. Goes for it again. Defense. I mean,
if you're in Jack's position, you're going to be annoyed by the amount of
yeah, no, of course. I mean, he's going to be feeling the frustration, but he's also going to be feeling some successes as well, because when he's found the home for his hands, anytime he's got the separation, he's done incredibly well with it. This is takedown after takedown from Whittaker, and head kick for the finish by PSD Jax. Jesus.
I was quick.
You hear the corner right there. That was friggin' awesome, man. What a head kick from BSD Jax. I mean, look, that was a brutal kind of, onslaught of grappling by Whittaker, and you can feel the frustration, obviously, of BSD Jax, but he felt that frustration. I'm sure it's hard not to in that moment. Was able to stay composed, and on an opportunity to rip a combination, he sent his opponent to hell, dog. He sent him to hell.
Indeed, it's a lovely job by Jax staying composed and then getting that very short combo. That's just showcasing the power of McGregor.
Yeah, no, for sure. And honestly, the pinpoint precision of the shots of that man right there, BSD Jax. If you didn't know his name, you know it now. He stayed composed. He stayed very, very, composed in those moments, bro. It's hard not to get frustrated in them. So fair play to that guy right there. He picks up a big W, and I'm very interested in see who he's up against next, because if you can stay composed in those sorts of moments, you know that as the stage gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, he's going to be one of those players that's able to rise to the occasion. He was able to do so tonight up against Whittaker, that made his life a living hell. So yeah, I'm very, very intrigued on where that guy goes from there. Up next, though, with all of that being said, we have TK-Perp, another gentleman from Team Chaos. He is been putting together some good wins recently, but he's up against another very, very dangerous opponent in Scatter, LFC Scatter, another camp that we've been speaking about quite a lot recently. We've seen a lot of their members come through, putting on great amounts of work. So yeah, fantastic work by that man right there. We're going to have to see how it goes in the shake-up. I would imagine that TK-Perp is maybe a little bit more of a striker. Scatter, if I'm not incorrect, more of a grappler, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to pretend that I know these men inside out, but just previous provisions of what I've seen on them, I think that's the way that we're going to probably see this shake out. A little bit of a striker, a little bit of a grappler. Have to see which one's able to implement their game plan and their strengths early.
We seem to be watching Jax versus Yeetikus again.
Oh, my apologies. Wrong one, brother, wrong one. Mistakes do happen, unfortunately.
It's always good. The doctor's curse back at it again.
No, that time, Doc. I'll eat it on this one. That one was my fault, brother.
Yeah.
That one was my fault, right? Yeah. The doctor's curse, maybe, but you know, my fault. I'll hold my hands up. NFC scatter. Either way, up against DK Perp. It's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be in lightweight. Another weight class that we've spoken a lot about. You know, they have a very high variance in the types of players and play styles that you can implement. Lots of great grapplers, lots of great strikers, and many people that can mix it all together. We're actually going to see a Tony Ferguson up against a Khabib pick from what I saw as the flash as they were loading in there. We'll see now.
The fight that never happened.
The fight that never happened is happening now, my man.
Scatters up 2-0 on Perp. But again, we've seen this before in multiple other fights where you can be up on someone and you're still losing the leg. Nerves and all.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little bit different when you're under the lights, man. It for sure is. You know, it's one thing fighting in quick fight, another thing fighting in ranked, and then when you get to a competitive scene, another thing entirely. The nerves are there, you know, people are going to be watching. He goes for the pull guard, straight flips him into top mount, and Khabib is not often put on his back as he goes for a go-go plata. I mean, Ferguson scatters, not wasting any time trying to get his opponent out of there. He's got a stamina deficit, so it's going to be really hard for his opponent to get out of it. But if nothing else, I imagine he's looking for reads. Yeah, but Doc, we've seen this before, right, brother? A lot of the time, early on, you're just really looking for reads on your opponent. That's what you're really looking for in these submission offenses. Of course, if you can get it, you will, but it's more about trying to find what your opponent's going to do.
Indeed. Well, again, we saw there, and you also imagine even just general reads starts early on. Getting a takedown this early on in the round gives you a lot more time to work, and so you can understand what people's ideas of the GA is, understand what denies they're looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
Khabib staying active again. Reversal now. We're focusing on top. He's got to be wary of this rubber guard and another go-go player. This could still be challenged.
Yeah, honestly, this is the problem with Tony Ferguson. It's why everybody was so interested in this fight. He's incredibly dangerous no matter what the position is. Whether he be striking, whether he be on it, you know, whether he be in top control, whether he be on bottom. He's got submissions for days, ground and pound, and yeah, look, going for it straight away.
It's a lovely tracking on it. It does seem to be in the favour of Khabib, though, especially with that high stand. Bitches on it instead. Goes for that rubber guard attempt, keeping it busy. He's not staying active again. Another top man reversal. Tries to go for a stack guard, and Khabib gets it.
Do you know what? I've never seen somebody go for that when somebody goes for the transition. That's a fantastic little spot. I imagine that he knew that was there. Goes for the stack guard as his opponent goes for the transition, and it was able to cancel it out by the looks of things. I'll have to have a little look after this. Maybe work some time in the lab and see if that's consistent.
Indeed, goes for the back attempts, gets denied. Very evident transition, especially what we've seen previously. I would imagine he would be a bit more high level. Instead, he goes for a rear naked choke. That's not it. It's a leg lock. Lovely ground and pound by the Khabib though here, working down that block.
I know why you got confused, bro. It's leg chokes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Side control, able to stop that full guard. That's an excellent denial and exactly what you want to see if you're Perp. His opponent's been threatening with submissions this entire round, so able to get some good top control and work some ground and pound, sap away that stamina with nice little denials like that. You know, you're Khabib, bro. You're not going to be fearsome of the submissions of Tony Ferguson. You're definitely going to be wary of them, but it's not going to dissuade you from pushing that grappling yourself.
With the back sitting left in about 5 seconds, it's more just a bit of time wasting. Very evident transition there, gets 9. With that, it's into the second round.
Yeah, I mean, these guys staying very active in terms of the way that they were grappling each other and the striking when we saw it, of course. I imagine that it's going to be much the same in this round. These guys don't look like they have too much of a feeling out process. Obviously, Scatter's looking for that takedown early, but Perp now going for it himself. Pulls guard and not able to get it. Both guys got the want and the will to grapple this evening. That may not go in Perp's favor now, though. On bottom, able to... I thought he got the transition off. The triangle is there. This is going to be a deep one.
Yeah, this will be close. Even with one denial, gets it very early on. You see the red blush shooting up instantly, does a fantastic job at tracking in. The blue is staying fairly strong, even with Khabib's high sub defense. He's going to be a difficult one to succeed, and it looks like he may get it.
Yeah, look like he may get it. Look like he may get it. And he does. So that's one of those ones, right? Is that one of the ones on the OP list?
Yeah, that is one of the ones which the ESPL scene has banned.
Yeah, no, it's one. It's been raised up to us as of recently. I would love to know the community's response to it as a whole. Let us know in the Discord or in the chat whether or not those types of submissions, the ESFL rules, is something that you'd like to see replicated within Primetime. Something that's definitely been considered and brought to our attention as of recently. Some of the submissions definitely very, very strong. Not taking too much away from Scat tonight. He got the work done in the second round with Tony Ferguson. You can't be mad at it from him, at least in this position. It's not currently banned, of course, and he's seen an opportunity to get a tough and dangerous opponent out of there and able to do so.
The winner by submission due to an arm triangle choke, Tony El Kakui.
With that all being said, my guys, we are moving one step closer to the co-main. Well, we're in the co-main and the main event. This is a fight that I know we're not going to really see any submission attempts out of. I would be very, very surprised if we do. We're going to be having the ferocious Law himself, Tadpole, coming in trying to kick down some doors, but he's going to be up against an incredibly dangerous opponent in EK Bang Bang. Joining the EK camp, no, he's definitely been put through the ringer in terms of grappling. We know that this man has hands. He's always coming to try and take your take your head off, put your lights out early. But honestly, I feel the same from Tadpole. Both guys are incredibly, incredibly dangerous pressure fighters. Doc, I'm pretty sure you fought them both as well, brother. You can attest to how how intimidating it can be when you've got one of these guys trying to walk you down in that cage. So seeing them meet up against each other tonight is just going to be fireworks.
Indeed. Well, Tadpole has a thing that's stand in your face throwing 6 pieces, whilst Bang Bang will stand in your face and put you against the cage somehow, and you're not really sure how he does it. Somehow you end up stuck against the cage and you're not quite sure. I would like this fight to go past the second round, but I have a sneaky suspicion it will be shorter than the introduction to the fight.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if one of these guys put each other out within the first 60 seconds or 30 seconds of this fight. They are both incredibly tough-ass fighters. Pressure game and shot selection for days. We see them step into that pocket already, trying to get the first one to back up. You know it's probably not going to be EK Bang Bang. He will just continue to throw.
Again, he's blocked straight through that block, throwing a bunch of shots and clipping that chin. Tadpole coming back, checks, hooks him though, and starts uppercutting 3 pieces, 4 pieces again, just throwing, looking for that clip.
I mean, this was the one that we kind of thought was going to be fight of the night before it was even, we knew it was going to be announced. This is one of those ones that's going to be an absolute barn burner. We see it already with these shots being exchanged. He sits him down. Tadpole's going to survive this one, able to probably separate in a moment after eating a knee. But Bang Bang's relentless with the pressure. And this is the thing, he cage cuts, he doesn't follow you. He walks laterally, looking to keep your back up against the cage, plants on that straight and the uppercut.
He goes straight for that ground and pound. Ooh, I thought I was going to be ending these into the face, though.
Tadpole needs to find a way to get Bang Bang's respect here. Needs to get him to back up a little bit and land something with his own nice straight lead upper from him there, but...
A beat trip, he may want to use it, otherwise he's going to end up dead, I feel like. This is so close. You've got 2 minutes left and 3 minutes left in the round, sorry. It's already looking like it's on death's doorstep.
Well, I mean, look, I would love to see a takedown from Tadpole, but I don't think we're going to see it. This man's got crazy hands of his own. He's just looking for an opportunity to land something, but I don't know if he's going to get it with a big shot from Bang Bang. Jesus, that man is so crazy with that pressure. It's madness. I've never seen anything like it. How much he is on you from the start of the fight. You just don't see him take a back step. It's amazing on how successful he is able to be when it's like, oh, it's not even reckless abandon. He's fighting technically. There's method to his madness. He chooses his shots perfectly. He knows that if he throws this, you're going to lean that way. He's going to throw that to counter it, and so on and so forth. And tonight, Tadpole not able to really get going, but able to land some good shots. But honestly, the overwhelming pressure of Bang Bang being a little bit too much tonight. Know that he's going to be back better than ever. The guy's an incredibly dangerous fighter, but this is exactly what we expected in this fight. One of them was going to go to sleep quickly. It was just a matter of case of who was going to land those shots the quickest. Who was going to get those shots off earliest, I should say.
Indeed. That fight didn't even get into the halfway mark of the first round.
No, we said it, man. We said it was probably going to be, shorter than the actual introduction to the fight itself, just because of how aggressive both fighters are. It's a large part of their success is that a lot of people struggle to, really, really exist in that realm with them because they're so, they're at home there. They're at home there. It's kind of like Justin Gaethje, in terms of like the way that he had, especially when he came onto the scene. They fight with that style, and they're both refining their game. So much like their Gaethje, as they kind of you see them have those barn burners against each other, and then against other guys, they're not just throwing wild and looking to land massive haymaker shots. They're walking you into those power shots with intelligent footwork. Obviously, the feints that they have to go with it. It's a beauty to see each and every time, man. Low-key, fantastic fight. Knew it was going to be bang bang tadpole. Absolute honor, my guys. Up next, we're going to be having the main event. The one that we all came for, of course, EK Slick, Love4MMA. This one's going to be in the Bantamweight division. Always a fun matchup between Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into it, man.
Indeed, neither of them. Well, Love4MMA is currently undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. He's on a 6-fight win streak with one loss when he made his debut. So he's looking to make
Yeah, no, for sure. We see Slick fighting as Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw as Love4MMA. All to play for in this event. I mean, if Love4MMA is able to get a little bit of the upset, I think EK Slick definitely a little bit of the favorite in this one, coming from the EK camp. Obviously, been around the scene with PrimeTime IFL, ESFL for a very, very long time. Know how dangerous he is and making massive adaptations, even in his striking game as well, which has been a beautiful ripple to see in his play style. But Love4MMA has had excellent success of his own, but right now having very, very early adversity, finds himself in the wrong end of top mount within the first minute of the very first round. Ooh.
We typically see Slick go for the striking attempt recently, but instead gives his back to Slick. This is a deadly position indeed. Gets that ground and pound off, gets up though. You've got to imagine this is a big mistake. Getting to that back sit instead. Slick just holding this now. He's probably looking for that top man position and gets it. This is not a fun place to be with Slick on top of you, happily making all the movement he wants to.
Yeah, this is exactly where you want to be if you're Slick Colt. Even though he's made massive adaptations in his striking, why would you risk it when you know that you're superior to a lot of people on the ground? It's really where his bread and butter is. We see this brutal ground and pound just being chambered upon his face. That's heavy, heavy work, man. Especially this early in the fight, he's letting go of those hands and finding a home for them. So far, Love4MMA not really able to mount a defense against this. Obviously, kind of been a little bit of one-way traffic, and Slick doesn't look like he's going to give it up anytime soon.
No, he doesn't. He's quite happy. I think the biggest threat to Slick's game currently would be the ground and pounds and just gassing himself out from the amount of ground and pound he's throwing. But he's decided to keep off it for the last few minutes, coming back to it now with that, just digging that hook over and over again. His posture's down, make sure he doesn't give up. Denies a back sit and take. Happy to be in the full guard. It's an interesting take indeed.
Trying to work it. Like I said, when you've got Slick in this position, he's going to continue to stay calm and composed and look to work it. You see some of these feints that he's throwing up there. Probably the undeniable nature of feints. Very, very tough to deal with. Love4MMA, though, doesn't look like he's getting too flustered, even though he's had a very, very adverse first round. There are 5 rounds in total, so 4 rounds and 50 seconds left on the clock. If he's able to make it out whilst maintaining some of this high stamina, he's going to come looking in the second round, basically as fresh as he was in the first round, in terms of stamina especially.
Indeed. Well, he's just keeping his patience. He started off very aggressive and now is just come down, making sure to posture up and gets a break here. He was just waiting for Love4MMA just to make a movement. He doesn't. So 21 seconds left. He's probably just going to keep it on the outside.
Switching of stances we see from Love4MMA. Now, we know that he's definitely more of a striker, so he's staying composed, gets a bow, he knows the round's over. Quite honestly, good defense. in the most part for Love4MMA, or efficient defense, I should say. He was able to mount a defense that was able to at least not drain his stamina. He didn't give away any silly transitions, although the ground and pound of Slick definitely adding up during that round, and looking very, very good for him going into the rest of this fight. I have to say though, Doc, you know it yourself, brother, every single round starts striking. We know the Slick Colt has made advancements in his game. What do you think we're going to see out of him coming into the second round? Is he going to come out and strike, or probably going to take it straight back down?
I'm expecting another takedown. Your Cruz, you've got the wrestling. You see that was just going to keep the outside and poke at his opponent. You see him shoot for a single leg, getting it instantly back into this side control position. He's probably going to look through the side control, the top mount position like we saw earlier, and gets it again cleanly.
Yeah, and honestly, this is got to be soul destroying if you love for MMA, because he's now going to mount a brutal set of strikes down on his face. That's great work for this early in the second round, just very much a mirror of the first round. Starts it out, uses a little bit of footwork to set up his ankle pick, able to take him down. Even though he's EK, he's still built for those ankle picks, and he will get them given an opportunity.
He's digging to that body, digging to the head. It's kind of uncertain way you need to defend on the ground and pound. He's making sure to keep his stam high and not making sure to gas out.
Oh, mate, that is brutal.
Just digs to that head. Dillashaw's chin may be better at bantamweight than he is at flyweight, but I don't think he can take those heavy shots.
No, for sure. I mean, let's be honest. Even Dominic Cruz doesn't have the best power advantage. That's a good reversal for him. He needs that as well. I don't see how much time is left on the clock. 3 minutes, so plenty of time to work in the second round. Doesn't look like Love4MMA was instantly looking for the separation. Looks like he's content to work his own ground and pound. Now got mount postured up, raining down his own shots, and doing a very good job of varying them up. Able to stop Slick from being able to defend too much. Obviously, he eats a lot of them on the block, which was a good job by that man. Does a good job of working his way back up. Obviously separates with relative ease once he found that full guard.
Indeed, he's just doing a lovely job getting takedown. Gets a denial though here, and this is where Slick's got to be careful. Low stam. Love4MMA putting on this pressure. Slick's happy to stand and compete back now since he's got that posture, that ground. Ooh.
Good little head movement from Cruz or Slick to evade that, but that front kick was incredibly close, and that's going to be a dangerous one if he manages to throw that out there a couple of more times, especially at this sort of range. You see those ankle picks, and the front kick can send you to hell should you time it right.
And again, another ankle pick we're seeing again. We're taking the back mount here, and this is where Slick's domain is. We've said before, seen him do a striking, but now he's gone back to his grappling. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's saying, don't forget, I can still take you down when I want to, and make your life a living hell. And that's what he's looking to do for Love4MMA tonight. And I imagine this, more so it's going to be out of respect. He knows that Love4MMA is a dangerous opponent quite clearly and doesn't want to risk it too much in the striking. He feels that he has a big advantage in the grappling, and he's looking to employ that in the opening 2 minutes at least. But knowing Slick Colt, I don't think this is... not enough time to do anything, but...
Still something to be aware of for Slick coming into the next round. It's even if you don't do much with it, it's just that threat and the realization you can put yourself in a risky position.
For truth, very, very true. I do think that was a selected choice by Slick Colt. He knew that there's maybe like 20-30 seconds left on the clock, and started to throw with some reckless abandon, obviously knowing that there wasn't too much threat should he get reversed. But quite honestly, this has been almost a picture perfect display of wrestling and game planning for Slick Colt so far in this fight. He is looking very, very good. We're going to have to see some big adjustments out of Love4MMA, who is still showing a lot of respect and obviously still staying very, very composed as he goes for an ankle pick of his own and is able to get it. That is cheekiness, and I love to see it.
Slick's been pulling his back first. Now we get to see Slick's bottom game. Gets a denial there. Love4MMA keeping this top mount, digging to that body, rabbit punching, building a lot of GA, get high GA meter, goes to the side control and attempt, and gets it cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is good work from Love4MMA. We'll have to, see what work he's able to do. He's going to have to be very careful not to get reversed, because if Slick Colt is able to get top control on you, I don't think you're going to find it so easy to get that position back. But he's doing a great job so far of taking the back and looking very, very dangerous. firing down some shots. We'll have to see if he's able to get the back flat. You know it's an option for him. He's definitely going to be looking for it. He's able to get it right here.
Everybody seems to get the back flat rear naked choke is a good call to do, and instead opts for the ground pound.
Not able to maintain the position, but Slick not out of the woods yet, although going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in this position. He knows the defense options that are available. Looks to take his back and is able to do so. Now, obviously, Slick, incredibly dangerous in these top control positions, as we saw earlier on in the fight. Able to get the crucifix, and this may be very, very bad news for Love4MMA as that first denial is hit by Slick.
Lovely job there by Slick controlling the fight now, even when put on the bottom. Gets the top man position again. You've got to be scared for Love4MMA here after we've seen the barrage of shots he's taking now.
And they're still adding up, and honestly, there's only 1 or 2 shots left in it at the end there. If he was able to land 1 or 2 more before being postured down, he could have been walking away with a W in the 3rd round. But like I said, Love4MMA not even able to stop a lot of these kind of shots when he's been postured up. For the most part, Slick Colt has been able to do an excellent job of varying his shots and changing which side he's throwing, whether it be a hook, whether it be a straight, and making it very, very unpredictable. That's nice defense right there, though. Love4MMA doing a great job.
Easily, though, with another posture up, taking the top man position, letting loose, digging that block, forcing the removal, and narrowly avoids the straight.
This is a barbaric onslaught of grappling. It's honestly some of the most savagery we've seen out of Slick in a little while. He's looking incredibly dominant tonight, and this could be it. It is. That's a huge, huge win for Slick Colt, picking up a nice W up against a dangerous opponent like Love4MMA, who was on a 6-2 record leading into this. Slick able to get that down to the ground, really, really implement his grappling, and that ground and pound from Dominic Cruz was phenomenal tonight, Doc.
Indeed, Slick did a fantastic job taking it down, knowing where he's comfortable, and then that top mount ground and pound was the make or break of the game, and sadly, Love4MMA just couldn't figure out how to stop it.
No, for sure. Honestly, absolutely incredible night of fights all round. Been an absolute pleasure to call them top to bottom. Like I said, we knew that last fight, co-main event was going to be a barn burner, and damn did that live up to it. Honestly, throughout the card, though, we've seen a number of special performances that kind of stood out. Obviously, we see Salty Joey, who was able to pick up a phenomenal win a little bit earlier on in the card. One of the fights on the prelims, as we see right there. Lepo was able to pick up an interesting and very, very silky, smooth-looking performance with Cub Swanson. Start to finish, though, obviously got BSD Jax, that big finish at the end there. Anything else that stands out to yourself, Dr. Brother?
Well, the Bang Bang versus Tadpole fight, of course.
Yes.
Barn burner in less than 2.5 minutes. The Chase Me Fan one also with his incredible sub. Like, both opponents did a fantastic job at fighting and competing, making a competitive matchup all around.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's been an absolute pleasure calling these fights tonight. A little bit of controversy in 1 or 2 of the instances, of course, but we're going to be coming back now to you. Going to be on Saturday. Sorry, lost my words for a second trying to get this up ready to go, but we're going to be back with you now on next Saturday. That's going to be at 2:30 Eastern. Make sure to tune in. We're going to be having an incredibly fun fight between EK Trixie up against, I believe it's FSK Milky Joe. Sorry if I got your camp wrong, brother, but Milky Joe, an incredible, dangerous, up-and-coming fighter, had some phenomenal performances recently, obviously, especially on the ESFL cards that we've been putting together, the ESFL network cards. So definitely interesting to see this matchup. 2 very, very good strikers. Milky Joe been looking to implement some good grappling recently as well, and obviously we know Trixie that he's an all-round threat, man, but he's a beauty to watch in terms of the striking. His striking has looked so smooth in all of his performances. I am incredibly interested for this one. I've got a stacked undercard as well. Full details to be posted. If you're not in the Discord, of course, you'll see them on the Twitter. Make sure to join the socials. If you haven't already, follow the channel. We will be doing these events as often as possible. Of course, we've got the PlayStation opening up very, very shortly. Probably going to be up with these next sets of sign-ups. So if you want to get involved, regardless of the console, you can do so. This is going to be the Discord. Hopefully, if it doesn't come up, It will probably come through in a moment. We'll link you guys. Well, now going to be moving off for the night. It's been a pleasure. You guys stay safe. We will see you on Saturday. We're going to be hitting up a bit of a raid before we call an end to this stream, so stay by. Make sure to show some love when we go into this channel. Let them know that we sent you. Appreciate you, Doc, for hitting us up with the Discord, since the bot doesn't seem to be working. But quite honestly, guys, a pleasure as always, and we shall see you in the next one.